Hello walkers, and welcome to Ski Walks, the channel where we wander about and explore and discover new and interesting pockets in new locations. Today, my name is Henry, and I'll be your proxy walker today, your virtual travel guide, which, as I stated, is a little bit of a misnomer because I'm not an expert on this place, but I do like finding and noticing and sharing with you guys here in Charlotte, North Carolina, Meklenburg County. This is the second of two walks. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. We're starting out here at South Tryon and East Trade Street. And we're gonna head down Tryon here. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. It does help the channel out, helps people know that this is a worthy, helps YouTube know this is a worthy channel, that you guys like it. Like the video if you haven't, and especially comment. I love interacting with you guys in the comments. I love hearing your stories and your memories. I love hearing your personal victories as you share your treadmill and exercise regimens. And I love the additions you sometimes make to these travel guides, these relaxed travel videos, and even the corrections, you know. It's a nice, positive space there, down there in the comments section. It is about 9 a.m., a little after. It is 41 degrees Fahrenheit, 5 degrees Celsius in the beginning of December. As we make our way past First Citizens Bank Plaza on the right. You can see a couple of restaurants here on the left. The earlier walk, we started off over 6th and Brevard. That's where it was. And I told you where we're starting now. We're coming up on, what is this street? I think it's like 4th or something. And 4th, yeah, nailed it. Excuse me. And we're going to wend our way around, and we will start wending this way. And then we're going to make our way left and go down that way. And then we'll just sort of go back and forth along these streets and explore downtown Charlotte. It is quite lovely. If you want more of the Charlotte details and that sort of thing, check out the earlier first walk. I was concerned about a blinking red light on my camera that seems to have probably been there the whole time I've had the camera, but I just noticed it. And oh, here we go. But it doesn't seem to have a negative effect on the recording. It's always a bit of a challenge doing these and getting all the little disparate parts right. I will share a few little things. Charlotte is in the Piedmont region, and I grew up in Wilmington, North Carolina. Left when I was 16, but Charlotte always seemed like it was more in the mountains, honestly. But it's a good couple hours from Asheville, which is in the mountains. And it's definitely not in the mountains. It just seemed like one of those western cities at the time. Of course, we didn't have I-40 coming into Wilmington back then, so, excuse me. So it did take a lot longer to get over here. We're actually going to head to Wilmington later today. Poke around there. Haven't been there in 30 years, or close to it. Coming down here, there's a bus stop. There's a couple of hotels and entertainment theaters and bars and that sort of thing, because to the left of this blue roofed bus stop and this big building that holds theaters and Gold's Gym and other things is I believe it's the basketball arena. I forget what the sponsor is or the name of it is, but it's a center of entertainment, that sort of thing. This is South College. We're going to make a right on South College. mainly because I don't want to come back up that hill, but also, I don't know, there's not a lot down there that's too dramatic, I don't think. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section, of course. We're walking at the base of the Truist building. I don't know what that is. I'm guessing it's a bank. It could be a hotel, though. This is a financial center here in Charlotte, among other things. Certainly it's a center of trade. There's a ton of hotels down here. There's a Hilton across the way, across that little park. And a lot of banking and investment type stuff going on here. Make sure I forgot my readers again, my reading glasses, so I can't quite see the screen, or can't quite read the screen. I was saying in the earlier walk, here's Wells Fargo. This is the East Coast hub of Wells Fargo Bank. I feel a little bit like a country mouse in the city on this road trip that we're on. This must be third. Go up there because I'm walking around, gaping up at the buildings and sort of wandering around. Not quite lost, but not far off. Not quite found. But whatever, I am a country mouse. I live in a city of 7,000 people. So, in large ways, I am. Obviously, if you've seen this channel, we've been to a lot of big cities. But that's not our native domain. It's not our happy space. I love visiting cities. We've tried to live in them. On our travels, we'll spend like a month in a city, and I think we've come to the conclusion that 2 weeks or a week is better for us in a city, and then maybe the month-long stays can be in the smaller areas. A lot of these buildings earlier this morning were shrouded in clouds and mist. That's pretty cool. But it is fun to come to a city and visit, especially one like Charlotte that's so pretty. I was talking earlier, I love these trees. The fact that they've kept these trees as they've put these massive buildings up is, I think, pretty cool. Here's Montreat College. I don't know. I think I'm going to go this way and start wending my way back and forth in a slightly different direction as we make our way across 3rd. And I forget what this is. Tryon again. Okay. And the reason I'm doing this is the buildings down here look a little more interesting. So I think that's what I'm going to be doing. Nice little park down here. The plaza. Ton of restaurants and bars. Look like the type of place you would go after work, which makes a lot of sense. Look at this, La Belle Helene. Looks like I would check that out. It's just a vibrant, busy downtown. Lots going on here. And a lot of things in this area to do if you want to come visit. Of course, there's a lot of historical stuff. This place was instrumental and had a lot of role in the Revolutionary War, somewhat in the Civil War, as we come up on Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. There's a lot of museums, a lot of art, a lot of theater. Of course, there's professional sports. It's just a cool place. So I'd like to come down here and spend a little more time. I came down, I have a couple friends that live here, and I was only able to touch base with one of them, given the amount of time we have. I'm going to cross over in town, which is always a little bit regrettable. It's I'm always a little bit leery of trying to track people down and allocate time to visiting, and then every time I do it, I just really enjoy it. It's connecting with people, and that's one of the things I like about the comments is we're not connecting in person, but I'm getting those personal stories very often, personal memories, personal triumphs, people that are in trials, people that are stuck inside because of COVID or because of an injury, and they're trying to either lose weight or recover from an injury. I love hearing about that stuff. It just makes the internet seem a little bit more human, And I love hearing that you guys, that these are useful and positive in the world, even if it's, we're not solving climate change or curing hunger or whatever, but if we can bring a smile to the world, that's awesome. Ooh, this is kind of cool. This little parky area down here. I'm going to cross over to see it. We're going to cross back and forth here as I jaywalk. And I know you don't have to leave a comment. I've had several people not kindly and gently chastise me for that. It's kind of a interesting portico, I know, atria. I don't know what that terminology is for that, but this is a neat little park. I'm going to walk down in here just to explore. There's the Westin over there. This is the green, I guess. I like it, man. I don't know if this is residential over here or not. It looks kind of residential. We'll loop around and we'll get a better look at it. Another thing that I didn't mention in the earlier video, but I will mention now, is Charlotte is known for NASCAR, North Carolina in general. These little brass bees or flies or insect sculptures, engravings. It's kind of fun. Anyway, Charlotte Motor Speedway, NASCAR. It's never really been my thing, but it certainly is a popular sport in the U.S. What's going on here? I'm going to show you one other thing. It's a neat little park. We've got these brass or copper engraved deals with, looks like poetry. I'm not going to read them because you guys are here for the walks. I'm not a fan of these sort of kitschy signs, but that's okay. I don't have to be. Up ahead is the Charlotte Convention Center. For what that's worth. I guess these signs sort of don't really, they look like something out of a theme park rather than a beautiful garden with poetry and sculpture. There's a tribute to books, I guess. Literature. I like that. We're just going to go up the other side. You're going to see a better view of these residences. I think that's what they are. Just because there's some, see these leaf sculptures on the sides too. There are some cool fish sculptures. You can see another one of these poems. These magnolia trees are lovely too. I don't don't know if you guys have ever seen magnolia blossoms, but there's these large white blossoms about the size of your hand. They smell wonderfully, and they've got these big waxy leaves. Here are these fish. I don't quite know what's going on here, but that's all right. It's like an old church here. It was coming in the earlier video, the real estate value these churches must be holding on to. I don't know if this is still in use, particular one. What are these? I've seen, we used to have some of these in our yard. I don't know what they are. They're very pretty. And it's on the tip of my tongue, but I don't remember. You know, there's like at least 3 city blocks taken up by churches in the middle of downtown amongst these massive buildings. So the real estate value here must be exponential. Well, I don't know if that really makes sense, but must be massive. And these churches are able to maintain or hold on to those properties. Must be tempting to take that money and repurpose it. Look at this. I love this art stuff. This is super cool. This thing. This is the Night Theater over to the left, and I think this is I can't quite read it, but it's an interesting building. That column is cool. Museum of Modern Art. And then across the way is another museum of art. I don't know if it's the same one. But it's a cool architectural building. Mariposa Mint. Not sure what's going on there, but it's cool. And over here on the right, we've got another cool modern building called the Night Theater. I assume that's live performances, probably theatrical, and not so much music, but I don't really know. Ooh, the Mint Museum Uptown. Look at that, it's a cool building. And then this is the wavy lines of this theater and that metallic, it's a, what do you call that, siding or something, but it's got a, it may not even be, yeah it is, but it's kind of cool. It's not just a big sheet metal, it's stamped. It reminds me of the tin roofs back out west. The tin ceiling stuff they do. Coming up on a Starbucks on our left. I had to, between the two videos here, I had to stop and get myself a hot coffee. Recharge a little bit, warm up my core. We're used to really cold temperatures out in Montana, but not the humidity. The humidity really makes these temps soak into your bones. Coming up on South Church Street. And I just missed the crosswalk. This says Levine Avenue of the Arts, but I feel like maybe it's a different one. I think this cement building is Duke Energy, which is the energy producer for the region, one of the big energy producers. Of course, Duke University. I don't know what the tie-in is there. Duke family. Just gonna cross, but I think I'm gonna wait for the light. Or not. Just gonna cross mean, look, you've got this cement, glass, and steel building. And without this greenery, without this little bits of shade and cover, it would be a desolate place. And I just love that they have kept these trees. And I hate to harp on it. Well, maybe I don't because I keep doing it. It just adds so much of an organic feel to it, makes it so much more psychologically pleasant, as well as the physical effects of cooling the city, preventing it from heating up, cleaning the air. These trees at a, well, I don't know what the investment is. I mean, I'm sure it's pretty expensive to maintain them, but they just add so much to a place. Sorry about that. Oh, that's cool there. I'm just looking over, and I'm always kind of evaluating whether I need to take if I want to take a side street that I may have to backtrack and may not pay off. But as I was saying, I forgot to mention at the beginning, I'm easily distracted. Why? Because I find these things that I want to show you guys while I'm maintaining this rambling monologue, which you guys have but most of you have said you enjoy. And then I'll notice something, my little goldfish brain will dart over to that and then back and that sort of thing. We're coming up on Mid Street. That's a long way of saying this is an exploration, and we never quite know exactly what's going to happen or where we're going to go. Off to the left here, Bank of America Stadium, where the Charlotte Panthers play, the big NFL team. We're going to go over there and check that out real quick. And I noticed earlier, I don't know if it's over here or not, but it looked like there's a baseball field. And to the best of my knowledge, Charlotte does not have a Major League Baseball team. I'm not super into sports, and I haven't really checked lately, but pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. Look at this massive stadium. It is right downtown, too. I'm sure parking is somewhat of a challenge on game day. There's a sign of things about entering the stadium over here. I've noticed a lot of statements on this road trip, as we come up on South Grand, that are in a way very American, because they involve the specification of and around firearms. So they specify you're not allowed to take your gun into the stadium. Now, we have something called the Second Amendment here, and it's part of our Constitution, and it's a constant battle around what that actually means. But I kind of feel like, as a culture, we should all agree that we shouldn't be taking our guns into a public station. That's my personal opinion, and I'm sure I'll get some pushback on that. That's fine. People can agree to disagree. But that just seems pretty... I mean, I grew up with guns. I have a bunch of guns. I don't take them into stadiums. Enough said. This is the Bank of America building. Bank of America is centered here, or based here. Big presence here in Charlotte. It's like a condo building, which looks pretty cool. I bet that is the one on the left there. Pretty sweet place to live. Huh. Okay, so it says Charlotte Football Club. I'm gonna guess. Oh no, that is Panthers. Thought maybe they got in an MSL team. Heck. Looks like they're building in a big construction project planned here. That's cool. Little French bulldog over there. I'm usually not a fan of little dogs, but I do like the French bulldogs. All right, back to church. And I think we will go down another block and see what we see down there. So I didn't show it because it was out of frame, so to speak. It's hidden by a parking garage, but there is a BB&T ballpark down there, and I suppose it's a minor league team. If you're not familiar with American baseball, there are Major League Baseball, which is the National League and the American League, and then they have a lot of levels of minor league teams, and those they call them farm leagues or farm teams, and they act as talent feeders for the major league teams. I've been to a few of those minor league games. They're a lot of fun. It's I like the major league games, but there's just something local and I don't know, retro about a minor league game. Another lot here. I'm a little shocked that it is not developed. It's got some grass and some gravel, but that's about it. I suppose that at some point it will be similar to this thing over here that's going up. Another massive building, pretty cool. Look at that elevator, crane elevator thing. Anchored into the building at places. There's another one on the other side. Big steel arms. Humans are amazing, right? Like 100 years ago, or 200 years ago, I guess 250, this place was like a few log cabins. And now, technology, the human mind is raising 30, 40 story buildings. These scooters that are powered with batteries and accessed via your telephone. The human mind is amazing. Coming up here on Dean's Italian Steakhouse. I don't really think of Italian as being a steak culture, but I would be willing to try out an Italian steakhouse. That's for sure. This is a grant center. I don't know. Looks like there's some artwork involved. And some music being pushed out into the public space. That's okay. And I guess we're on Stonewall. Off to the right here is the Marriott, which is a hotel chain, JW Marriott. Not sure what that building is. It's interesting. But we're going to make a right on South College. Oh, we're going to look left first because that's more of downtown there. And we're going to make a right and loop back, maybe. Or maybe we'll keep going. I don't know. Surely there's like an old part of Charlotte, right? Like part that has the old buildings and retro. I could be totally wrong about that. As I mentioned, I do a little bit of, well, it's a Westin across the way. Lots of hotels here. I do a little bit of research when I come to here, and I do, the basics. But I don't really know a place like a professional tour guide would. And as we travel, we almost always take a guided walking tour of a place. Usually you can, in the big cities, you can find them, they're quote unquote free, where you just tip the guide at the end. And they are always worth the money. You just learn so much. And you have somebody to ask questions of. And we ask a lot of questions. Okay, this is the overpass of Highway 277. I'm a little bit tempted to go over there, but also it's a long way to go for an if. Looks like it's residential, maybe some smaller business park area. There's a hotel, the Crown. But we're gonna go back up here. We'll make our way down to the other side of that stadium and see what's down there. I'm tempted to look down there, but I think that it's gonna be not that interesting. So if I'm wrong and you know this from your Charlotte knowledge, please comment below. I know I'm missing things, and I do enjoy corrections and additions, as I stated below. I just saw a truck with a bunch of these scooters around, these electric scooters. And I was under the impression that these electric scooters were a net positive for the environment. And I think they could be. But the fact that they have to be picked up by internal combustion engine vehicles to be taken to charge negates the environmental benefits, the pollutant benefits. Apparently, I read an article about that. So at some point, hopefully they'll get these, you see a FedEx van up here, these last mile type vehicles where they're electric and charged off of clean energy sources. This really has been I know we're in dire straits environmentally, but it's good to remember that we have made great strides over the last 5 or 10 years, and tells me that it's possible to not go into the end times, to avoid that catastrophe. Certainly we're seeing effects now. Anyway, I like to be positive here, and I normally like to keep politics and topics that are going to cause a strident reaction out of these, but I do have to mention a few things from time to time, because I want this to be more than just bubble gum for the eyes, as somebody once called TV, or maybe bubble gum for the ears was radio. Forgot to call out the street name here. I'm noticing the first walk was everybody was out and about, walking around, getting their coffees. Streets were full, and now I think people are in their offices and it's not as busy. There's the stadium off to the left. There is a ballpark down there and a green park that I want to go check out. So we'll go down another block or so and make a left. We'll cross Stonewall, which I assume is named for Stonewall Jackson. But I have no source on that. Well, there's a fair number of empty lots here that I have to imagine are going to be built upon at some point. It's surprising, honestly. It's not certainly not a city in decline. It's cross over here. It's a rich and vibrant town. A lot going on here. We're at the corner of Church and Stonewall, if you're following along. And we'll go down another block and make a left. Sometimes we do retrace our steps on these walks. This is the Duke Energy building again. I'm gonna go down one more block. Oh, it smells like bacon. Something smells good. Breakfast. Rhino Market and Deli. That looks like it could be a good place to grab a lunch. Sorry about this breeze on the microphone. Pizza bakers, that looks downright hallucinogenic. The mellow mushroom. Interesting. Okay, here is Romare Bearden Park that I want to check out. And then we got that baseball park down to the left as well that we'll see. I love a good park in the middle of a city. This one looks pretty cool. I cut in here. I'm getting a couple raindrops too. That's not good. But we'll endeavor to persevere. Cool. They got tables out. They're not all locked down. That's great. I think maybe they're tied down, but they've got a sort of place where they could grow vines. They've got some public art. That's an interesting sculpture there. I'm not sure what's going on. And then we're going to go up here to the main bit. Right? So you've got this little place for shade. And gosh, look at that view of all the buildings and that sort of thing. That skyline is pretty cool. And you've got this grassy area. Love these shade trees. I'm digging it. Little fountain. I love that skyline from here. It's really pretty cool. It's amazing to me. Human creativity, ingenuity, all that stuff that goes into creating that. Because it's not just the architecture, it's not just the design, it's not just the engineering. It's like the economic output that creates that and makes that sustainable. You know, we're talking about the efforts of and outputs of millions of people. And million is a hard concept for the human mind to grasp, I think. There's a stat out there that I think may have been discredited, but where the human mind can only associate itself personal level with like 150 people or 250 people, and then everybody else is sort of other. I think that may have been proven wrong or inaccurate, but I get that, you know. And so the idea of a million is, you know, I don't like 40,000 of those groups, right? Am I getting that math right? Probably not. You know, and that's how we organize ourselves into little communities, tribes, that sort of thing. Got a Residence Inn across the way between this ballpark and the big stadium. First FNB, I think that's First National Bank building, that tall glass one. We're gonna go across and just peek into the stadium. It's all closed up for the years. Baseball season is in the summer, spring, summer, fall. I say that to our non-US viewers. I've heard it compared to cricket, and I don't know anything about cricket other than the matches can last for days, but I've also heard that it's nothing like cricket, so other than you hit a ball with a bat. So well, that's a pretty cool little field. Fun, intimate stadium. I'm gonna stick you through the bars here. So, right. I'd go see a game there. That'd be fun. See what's up here. I think we passed this building earlier, or came near it. It's a public building of some sort. They have security to get in. I'm guessing it's a county building or a city building. Let me see if I can look it up. It doesn't really say. Mint, U.S. District Court Clerk. And there is Charlotte, downtown Charlotte, y'all. Ooh. There's an old building up ahead. We can go for a couple more minutes. I hustle like I might even get across the street. This is West 4th that we're crossing. And we're walking along South Mint. I see an old building up here. I kind of wonder if it might be the old part of town. Perhaps not. You know, maybe the financial growth of a place and success of a place often, I feel, leads to the replacement of old buildings. They no longer serve the full interest of a place. Some old buildings. I like those. That green one's super weird. Not weird, unusual. Weird has a negative connotation, but I didn't mean it to be negative. I smell another restaurant somewhere. It smells delish. We're about to lose our battery here, so I want to thank you guys for joining us here in Charlotte as we make our way over to this green building. Hopefully we'll make it. Awesome to see you guys. We'll be in Wilmington soon, filming down there. I'll go across here. And so we'll do a couple walks there. Come check us out. We'll see you. Until then, as I like to say, keep on stepping. We're going to see this building. Isn't that cool? Super interesting. All right, guys, we'll see ya.